Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. You're joining us today back with the Chewitt Racing Mini Cooper Cup, and today we are at Sardegna, and this is the Road Track C layout, so the more open, flowy one, probably a bit more suited to these cars, to be brutally honest with you. I'm just going to get the links posted out, then we'll go through it in proper detail. So we're live for that. Next gen racing. Oh, I keep getting notifications aren't a bad thing, but when you get peppered with the bloody things. We're live for the Chewitt Mini Cooper Cup. Come check out the action. There we go. Paste that. Wicked. That's that. Perfect. So I've just got to do a few settings changes, and then we'll jump into quali. So a lot of people will be familiar with the layout of this. We are looking at 2 races tonight, so we're going to have 15 minutes qualifying to decide the sprint race grids. That in itself will be 15 minutes long. Then we'll give the guys a bit of a break. We'll flip the grid results on its head and do a 30 minutes inverted commas endurance race or feature race, and that one will include tyre wear and fuel depletion. So in the first race, balls out racing, don't have to think about anything, just race. But yes, I am 1805 stream. Yeah, when I can spell. It's live. Yeah, so the first race is literally just racing, so they will only need to consider the people around them, and they don't have to worry about the fuel, tyres and all that sort of stuff. In the second race, that gets a lot more interesting. You tend to get the people who have thought about things a little bit more. So let me just cancel my entry. So I've only got 8 drivers tonight, so we are a little bit lacking in drivers. What I'm gonna do is just set some. No, I don't want that power. I took this off because I was messing around with a safety car. I got bored, so I just took this off and paraded around in the Merc GTR. Sue me. 50, racing medium. Sweet, right. That Scar Wars has made it brilliant. Right, so we'll wait for Scar Wars to enter. Dark Smoke is also live, so there's a notification that Dark Smoke is live with the ProAm Commentary. So if you're checking out a driver and he's not listed, chances are he's in the ProAm League, so if you check the link in the description below, there's a link to Dark Smoke's channel. He's live at this minute in time as well. And he will be doing the ProAm Commentary, so people like hunting stuff will be racing in that. So we're just waiting for Scar Wars to ready up, then we can get this show on the road, quite literally. While we're going through that, I'll give you some sort of table standings and see where we are right now. So in fact, let me get that up now, because I want to see if we're missing anyone. So we've got most of the top guys in here. I know Biggs is not racing. Yeah, so most of the guys are here. Right, winner. Right, so let's get qualifying underway. Everything's set. Start quali. Check the stream is live. 18:05. How are you, my friends? Good luck in qualifying, mate. We'll flick to you in just a second and check you out. Okay, so we're watching Fredo at the minute. Fredo is in his cheetah livery. So that's basically the same sort of livery that he runs in real life racing. Of course, we've covered before that Fredo is part of the Chewitt Racing family. Let me get you some info on. So keyboard's on. Race info. Beautiful. Okay. So the track to the track to host us tonight is the Sardegna Road Circuit C. It's a fictional circuit, so it doesn't exist in real life. However, it's quite a good track. There's a couple of different variants. So I've got a race on this coming up on Friday, not in this one, in the A layout, which is probably the more complex one. This one suits the minis quite well. It's flowing, it helps you with your momentum. The exit to this corner is a bit of a pig though. I did a few laps before that the car wants you to change it up, but the second you do it dies. So it's going to be a little bit of a pain to manage that. So Fraser gets a little bit of a tow from Cutler going on his outlap. Cutler's not wanting to give him that tow at all. So Fraser's going to have to go for a move here. It's going to compromise both of their lap times. So they're both just going to want to set a lap time to just basically get them on the board. Cutler has to go wide there, basically. So Cutler then, upon entering the circuit, sort of gets in the way Sparks and Fredo at the same time. Flick through the drivers. Let's do that. So Fraser, F124 YS. Currently second in the championship, so he'll be wanting a good result out of this one. He will be eager to rectify the wrongs of past races. He made an error or two last time out, and that's not like him. So we'll hopefully see a return to form for Fraser. VLX Sparks is our current championship leader after 3 rounds, so he's absolutely outperforming everyone at the minute. Is VLX Sparks. I fully expect to see him up there. 105.7 is a good time. 106.3 for Sparks. So the benchmark's been set nice and early. That's it. That's Sparks on the board in second. The next driver to set a time was Peter. So Peter did a 108. Next on the board is Fredo. Fredo was really fast in practice. So Fredo's got himself into 4th, just 2.5 seconds off Fraser's time now, so there's a lot of room for him to improve that. Cuddles, not too far behind Fredo, and a big gap to PK. So PK's definitely got a faster lap in him. He's someone that's in the championship fight as well, so all being well, we'll see PK in the mix. Cutler we saw have a little bit of an issue on the last lap, so I'm just going to do this. That then gives me the times at the side so I can see. So yeah, Cutler's got a lot of room to improve. 7.7 seconds to Fraser. Let's see what Cutler does. Cutler plays in a 106.6. That's good enough for 4th at this minute in time. A good second off Fraser's time. Now, it looks like these top 4 are beginning to set the pace nice and easy. Fraser's knocking in 2 105 lap times. So all the guys restricted to the medium compound of tyre, and they are all on full tanks of fuel as well. So there will be no fuel depletion. They don't have to worry about that. But he's going to make the cars nice and heavy. They also don't have to worry about the tyres falling off the cliff as well. As we see Sparks setting purple lap times, he did get a little bit wild coming out of that last turn, so we'll see if that upsets his time. We're not going to get an update on his split times until he crosses the line, but he did go purple in sector 2, so we shall see if that pays him dividends. Of course, the pole times around here have been sort of battled out between Fraser and Sparks historically, with Cutler getting in the mix there or thereabouts. Fredo's going to get a nice tow all the way up though, so Fredo might leapfrog someone. Sparks puts a 106.1 in, not good enough. But Fredo with the tow, 105.9, so that's a brilliant lap by Fredo. So he's front row of the grid right now. And I'm sure Tony, if he's watching this, will be happy to see his boy on the front row of the grid. And let's see if he can pull off a result in the sprint race. Let's cover the rest of the pack. So Sparks down into 3rd. Will be eager to rectify that. PK 4th. Hasn't improved on his previous time, so Cutler plenty of time to rectify that. He's really testing out the track limit. He's going to clonk the wall there, and he's already made some nice paintwork alterations to that car. Cuddles just setting a 107. It's not a bad lap time at all. going to get held up by some yellow flags out ahead. I'm not going to be popping out of my safety car, boys, don't worry about that. Peter, another one that's in championship fight. He's not really pulling this one together just yet. 1805, who you saw in the comment section below. 108.7 for 1805. Let's see if he can improve that on this lap. Nice and slow and steady coming around the last corner. Could have probably run that a little bit tighter, got on the power a little bit earlier, as we see Peter set a 107.7. It's not a bad time from Peter at all. 1805 got a 108.7 to improve on. Is it going to be enough? It is an improvement, but it's not enough to close the gap to Peter up ahead. So we've got 8 attempts to find somewhere to leapfrog Peter. And only 3 seconds to Fraser. And then Scarwells, who's quite late out of the pits, so he hasn't really set a representative time yet. Of course, he had that issue in the last lap, so he'll be wanting to get himself up. 112 is his best so far, but we know that's, we know he's faster. So it'll be eager to see if Scarwells can improve. Meanwhile, the next driver that we really want to keep an eye on is Sparks. Let's see what his set to time's like. Just about to finish set to 1. Is he improving his time? He's not now, unfortunately. Fredo doesn't go faster. Fraser just starting his 7th qualifying lap. All of them in the 105s. Every single fast lap he's done is a 105 somewhere along the line. So superb consistency by Fraser. So he is on it this weekend. Cutler, who we know can mix it up with these guys as well. Now he's got some clear air in front of him, can sort of knuckle down and get some time set. Sparks goes into the 105s as well with a 105.8, so he does improve his time. Must have had an absolute blister in second sector. So now he's just 1.5 attempts behind Fraser, and we know he's got time to find in sector 1. So if he sets a personal best here, it's definitely going to be worth following him around. I will chuck you on board with these guys in just a minute, and we'll see how Sardegna looks from the driver's perspective. It's not an easy track to master. It's an easy track to learn, but a hard one to master, because it's all about where you ride the curbs, and he does go purple going through the first sector. So because he comes down the hill, back up momentum is absolutely critical. As you come through the final turn, just changes down, keeps it in third, rides it all the way around, just clips the apex, uses that to get his car turned in. Beautiful line through there. That's probably about as fast as he's going to take it without a slipstream. 105.8 to beat 105.7 is the time he needs to be, and it's not enough. He does lump a little bit of time off, but just not enough. Literally 0.03 of a second he improved on there. So current man on pole is Fraser. Let's nip on board with Fraser, and let's show you what Sardegna looks like from a driver's point of view. So it's a very long start finish straight. As Fraser goes even faster with a 105.6, so further extending the gap to Sparks behind. You'll see a little blue rumble strip here. You can utilise that. That is within track limits. You can use that to widen your entry into T1. Turns 2 and 3 are flat out. You don't even need to worry about them. You can just rumble the curb if you want. It's not going to cost you any time. This entry is the next deceptive one. Sort of brake just as the gravel starts. Try and hook 2 wheels on the curb. Don't run too hard here, because that wall on the right is absolutely deadly. Nice slow and steady turn, and again keep the momentum of the car coming all the way down the hill. Minimise your steering impulse as well. The more you turn, the more it's going to scrub speed off from the car. Brake as light as you dare coming up the hill. The car's going to want to over-rotate coming into here, so you really just need to manage that. Be nice and steady. You can use the pit entry as extra track. And is this going to be an improved time for Fraser? It's his first his second 106 lap for Fraser, so he's losing his edge. I see Sparks absolutely rip it through the course now. He's got nearly a 2-tenth disadvantage to Fraser to make up somewhere. It doesn't sound like a lot of time, but when you're on the edge as much as these guys are, that is a lot of time to find. Just going to check my notifications. I'll have a look on the chat in a minute. So now he doesn't improve that. Fredo still doing really good job. He hasn't managed to improve that time from before. Just tweeted out video like, cheers 1805, appreciate it mate. I wonder what you were doing parked up there. Don't sacrifice your qualifying to promote me though, you Bert. Get qualifying. Put some laps in. Yeah, we do normally have Tony Hewitt join us on these live streams. He normally pops in and says a few things. Of course, this whole thing is named after Chloe Hewitt, who races in the real world version of this thing. Fredo, who we're following around now, races Ford K8s. He's a little bit younger, so plenty of time to go into his racing career. And the more practice he gets on the sim, the better. So he's certainly proving a competitor here. Sim racing and real life racing share a lot of similarities, but it's not really massively representative of real world stuff. So Fredo, yeah, again, not really throwing the times in. PK hasn't improved either. PK currently sitting in 5th in the championship, so Paul is 5th, just trailing Cutler by a couple of points. Really, you know, the battle for sort of second and third is really close at the minute. So run you through the standings. So this man is currently leading the championship. He's got 41 points so far. This man is second. He's just 2 points behind. 39 points for Fraser at the minute. So a good result or two here will certainly see him in good stead. Then the next one who's not really shining today is Peter. So he's in third at the minute. 29 points in the championship. Has had some good results. Hasn't won a race yet, but has just been consistently sort of there and within the top sort of few guys. Let's see if he does manage to improve his time. There's a big gaggle of cars here. He's on his outlap, so being in this gaggle of cars could prove a bit of a distraction. We've just covered PK. The next one in the championship, sitting in 6th of the championship, is Andy, aka Scar Wars. He's on 22 points, so he's just 1 point behind PK up ahead. And then 2 points behind him is 1805. He's spending all his qualifying promoting me, but he is on it now. He's currently bottom of the grid at this minute in time. He's probably got enough time for 2 more laps. 107.8 is his current best time as he stacks it into all. So that's going to affect not only this but his next lap, because of course you need to drive as he just gives Scar Wars a little bit of a nudge. Probably helps Scar Wars around that corner, to be fair. So hopefully 1805 is going to have enough time to set a decent lap. Sprint race isn't all that matters, to be honest. So Cuddles puts in a 106.7, so that's put Cuddles up into 6th for this minute in time. So we just watched Sparks come through, takes a really wide line. It almost V's that. A lot of people are hooking wheels on the curb to try. Maybe he's trying a little bit of a different line through that corner. Certainly wouldn't be an issue for him to do that. Obviously, this lap 20.7 seconds slower than anything else. This is the time. If Sparks is going to nab pole, he has to do it on this lap. There's a nice wide entry into T1, braking as late as he dare, hooks 2 wheels on the curb, gets that to pull him round, runs that track as wide as he can. Straight lines this corner as much as possible, minimise your speed loss, keep your momentum going in the car. We'll just join him on the roof of this. Lovely bit of braking there again, 2 wheels on the curb, throw it as fast as you can. Let's see what his split time is as he comes down the hill. He's slightly down on his personal best at the minute, and he's absolutely beastly last sector. Needs to essentially make 2 temps up here somewhere. If anyone can pull a pole position lap out of their arse, it's probably this man. On the power as quick as he can. Now it's all about the run up, but he hasn't got a slipstream now, and that's what could be the difference. It needs to beat a 105.6. He's not going to do that in this minute in time, so it looks like Fraser's solidified a pole position. So that's pole for Fraser in race number 1. Doesn't improve on that one. We've seen Sparks already. He's finished off. Fredo is in 3rd. Brilliant qualifying from Fredo. PK in 4th. With Cutler in 5th. Cuddles in 6th. Scarwall 7th. Peter in 8th. And 18.05 rounding out the grid. So that's qualifying, ladies and gents. Just waiting for the timers to tick down about another 10 seconds or something now, and we'll get underway with the first race. 15 minutes of Sardegna Road Track C, I think. C, yes, that's one. Any Spanish people watching, I wasn't just saying Sardegna Road Track yes. It's Sardegna Road Track C. C, senor. Yeah, I'm chatting nonsense. Right, anyway, there we go. Confirmation. Let's get on with it. Going to be all about the start and the run down to turn 1. A bad start here is going to cost you an absolute bucket load of time, so it's important the guys get away well. Fraser's going to goes underway, waiting for the lights to go out. They do. Green, everyone seems to get away quite cleanly. Peter seems to get away quite slowly about Fraser, and Sparks got away quite cleanly. Fredo appears to have got a bit of a poor start. PK is going to try and jump in from there. Cutler's following them all behind. Scarwall's absolutely leapt everyone off the start, but just hasn't got enough momentum to make that count for much. 18.05 has made a place up already. Cuddles and Cutler getting a little bit cosy coming through T1, but everyone survives this one just fine. And everyone's through. Peter's had an absolute nightmare of a start. He's down to the back of the grid. As Cuddles gets it a little bit wide, Tokyo drifts it around the corner. It's all getting a bit tight for him. Fraser with a massive moment somewhere. Fraser's now going to fall right to the back of the grid. That is the last thing he wanted. As Sparks assumes the lead with PK in 2nd, Fredo in 3rd. Looks like Cutler's going to try and make a move on Scarwall, so a little bit of door banging and contact between these two. Everyone seems to make it through, and it's all about this man on lap 1, Fraser, carrying a little bit of suspension damage in that car. We'll just go back and have a look and see what happened to him. So let's go on board with him. So Fraser was following Sparks through. Looks like he just missed his turning point and made a massive whack of that wall. And yeah, that's going to cost you a ton of time. He has got 30 minutes to make amends. But all the while he's fighting through traffic, this one is just going to go further and further out of reach. PK doing a good job in 2nd, has inherited that, and Fredo's also doing a good job to pull away from Cutler behind. Cutler's got past Scarwalls. We saw him having a bit of a door bang. Fraser made a lovely move on 18.05. Doesn't like it at 18.05, but much of a fight up, if it must be honest. Peter has made a place up to Cuddles. Cuddles is now down to the bottom of the grid. Must have had an issue somewhere along the line. So Fredo had an issue somewhere. Let's have a look. It looks like he might have just outbroke himself. That's going to gift Fraser a place. What's happened to Fredo? So it looks like he was in 3rd, coming up the hill. Yeah, just got his braking a little bit wrong. What the car then does, like I say, is if you've slightly got your steering angle locked in the wrong way, the car is going to over-rotate. And that means you can't counter-steer that. And that's Fredo, unfortunately, down to 6. However, with Fraser ploughing the way ahead, he's probably behind the best man to recuperate some lost time. So Fraser is now up to the sort of pack that I'd say would give him a fight. Scarwalls didn't seem too familiar with the track when we watched him in qualifying. Certainly wasn't setting massive times. Fraser and Scarwalls just come a little bit together there again. 6-1 after us than the other, I think. Could they have left each other a little bit more room? I think they both could have. Fraser has survived that with a little bit of mini rally cross going on. But that has allowed Fredo and 18.05 to close in. Let's go back and have another quick look at what was going on there. So Fraser and Scarwalls are side by side coming into this complex. Some will argue that Fraser should have just backed off at that point. Yeah, racing incident, pure and simple. So Scarwalls and Cutler now having a little bit of a ding dong. So Cutler picks up a little bit of a track cut penalty. Very easily done here. Of course, you don't have to serve your penalties in any particular way. I think because the stewards know the in-game automatic penalty detection system is a little bit, let's just say, buggy. They don't make the guys do it. A lot of the incidents per se are done post-race, and stewards will review when requested. As Cutler does just brake a little bit early, potentially serves that penalty off. There's a little bit of an issue behind. We're going to go back and review that and see what went off. Looks like Scar was definitely involved in that. He's got away with any damage. Let's just go back on board with Scar Wars, see what happened. So he's firmly in Cutler's slipstream. He's got 2 wheels on the grass by the looks of things. And I think Fraser just followed him through. So no one's fault. Just under braking. Scarwall's got a wheel on the grass. Slick tyres plus grass don't work. As we see him just in the gravel. Yeah, he's not familiar with this circuit at all. Scarwalls is someone we know can mix it up. Checking in with Sparks and just set the fastest lap of the race now. 2.2 seconds clear of PK. PK himself is 4 seconds clear of Cutler. All this battling going on behind has helped out. Fraser has got into 4th now, and because of Scarwalls' incident, Fredo's now back up into 5th as well. So the problem for Fraser and Fredo is the guys ahead have managed to pull away. Fraser's now 8.3 seconds behind Sparks, and will need to be a second a lap faster in order to be on his backside at the end of the race, and he's just not managing to make it happen. So not a second a lap, probably thought to be about half a second quicker, but again, it's going to be a hard act to follow. But anyway, let's see what he can do. Surely from like a last to first challenge for Fraser won't be beyond the realms of comprehension. Fredo doing a good job in 5th, managing to keep good consistency in that mini. 18.05 behind the action for 7th. He's heating up a little bit with Peter and Cuddles going side by side. Good respect shown between those two. They did give each other the room. Scarwalls is languishing at the back, as we see Peter just get a little bit of a nick on the wall there. It's going to cost him that momentum that we were talking about earlier on. Not much action going on track right now. The race has sort of simmered off a little bit, as these races sometimes do. So what you tend to find is there's a little bit of a mid-race lull. This happens especially in the next race we'll be covering, which is a 30-minute long feature race. So strategy sort of starts to unfold. People will form into representative packs, and then it all comes together in the last sort of 5-10 minutes, when everyone sort of reveals what they've been up to. Meanwhile, Cutler versus Fraser. I'll tell you what, if there's someone you don't want to be battling for a position, it's Cutler. Fraser just pressured into a little bit of a mistake. Fortunately, that doesn't cost him too much time. He's got to try and get past Cutler, and Cutler does not make getting past him easy at all. He really makes you work for it. I've found this out myself quite a few times. Fraser looks to be going for the switchback manoeuvre. So what I essentially mean by that is he just wants a higher exit speed coming off that turn in order to basically have a speed advantage coming down the straight. Cutler's not going to let him have his slipstream weaving all around the track. Fraser is gaining, but he's still 3 tenths back. It's probably a little bit far away for a lunge. Fraser thinks better of it. Tucks back to the racing line. Sometimes in these sort of battles it is probably more sensible to just work together, because all the while these guys are fighting, Sparks and PK are buggering off. PK has pulled 4 temps on these guys while they've been battling, and that is only going to increase the more Cutler has to go defensive. Fraser has to slow down in order to not hit him as they come down the hill now. A little bit of overspeed. Cutler's going to want to keep this left. Fraser's going to want the left in order to get the inside line. Has to switch that back. Cutler then just closes the door a little bit, but does outbrake himself. A little bit of contact. And Fraser looks like he might just get that move made. He is. He's going to get the move made before turn 1. A nice little bit of side by side from these guys as they're going to barge for position. Looks like Peter's had some sort of issue and has had to leave the room. Whether that's a disconnect or something, I'm not too sure. Cutler is going to try and hang it in. Instead goes for the cutback. There's all 4 wheels on there now. Fraser manages to hold on to that. So we'll go back and have a little bit of a look at the moves that these two made. So Cutler did just start breaking himself a little. Fraser went to turn in. He's got a right to do so. And Cutler was still slowing down. So Fraser buggered off somewhere. Cutler is carrying suspension damage, so that's going to affect his speed all the way through this complex, and Fredo's going to take advantage of that, and up he goes. 1805 also smells blood. Can he make a move on Cutler here as well? Peter, what happened? Disconnect or what happened, mate? The battle on track now with 4.5 minutes to go is the battle for 4th. Fredo's going to be defending this one to Cutler. Looks like he's not putting up too much of a fight in all fairness. Cutler does get the move done. Going through turn 4 but gets it a little bit wrong, I'm afraid, and he's going to allow Fredo and 1805 to sort of escape a little bit. What happened there? So Cutler did go for the inside line. I think he just overcooked it a little bit, yeah, into the gravel, onto the grass. And unfortunately that's his attack for the time being done. As we see Sparks just set a personal best and fastest lap of the race, 105.6. Absolutely superb performance from Sparks. Obviously the issues that Fraser had early on in the race, but Sparks was ready and willing to pounce. PK also had a very impressive race. He's running not too far behind Sparks in terms of pace. He's got a 5-second gap either side of his mini, so he's got clear air in front and no one to worry about him behind. He can just not start nailing those laps in with a few minutes to go. Fraser in 3rd, not a bad recovery to be brutally honest. He had a bit of a shoddy start to the race but has pulled it back together. Will probably be disappointed with himself in all fairness. I know what he's like, he will kick himself for this one. The chance of a win has gone, I'm afraid, and no one will be more punishing about it than he will. TC Fredo, our resident real life racer, just defending from 1805. 1805, we caught up to him really quickly, so one of the fastest men on track at the minute is hit 1805. Considering he started right at the back of the grid. Granted, there's been a few issues in this race, and you know, he's been there or thereabouts, but you've got to say, I've not seen 1805 put a foot wrong all race. Commentator's curse, I'll spin it into the back of Fredo in a minute, but let's hope he doesn't. So yeah, he's running the 106s as well, so he's got pace. He's quick enough as he is. We'll just stick with this for a minute. I think it's better of a move on Fredo, but by virtue of Fredo thinking about 1805 too much, he's going to inherit 4th. And he's only got 2 minutes to defend that, and immediately pulls like a 1.5 second gap to Fredo behind him. So we'll come back to that and see how that one develops. Cutler, after that earlier incident, now smells Fredo, and he's going to lunge on up the inside. just not close enough at that moment in time, but he's going to be in the slipstream. Can take advantage of that right at the end of here, hopefully. Let's go on board with Cutler and see how much that suck is paying off. It's not worth an awful lot in these minis. Like I said, they're not the most aerodynamic machines in the entire world. It is like driving a brick. Yes, he gets nice and early on the brakes. He's looking to get Fredo on the exit. Maybe, yeah, he was going for exit speed rather than entry speed there, Cutler. Is he going to do the typical shimmy move and shimmy back to the left in a minute? Let's have a look. So braking zones roughly, it's gravel. Cutler's going to try and hang this around the outside. Brave move, if he manages to pull that off. It has to go on the grass, little bit of contact. Side by side coming down the SS complex. If these two manage to complete this without hitting each other off, I'll be very impressed. Fredo's going to have the inside line. He's hanging his car in there. Cutler's going to have to move over and cut that off. Lovely bit of racecraft from these boys. So Cutler up into 5th, but Fredo is going to come back at him. That one isn't done yet. Yeah, indeed. Fredo right back at him. These two literally trading paint as they come down into turn 1 for what is the final time. Scar Wars has already finished his lap. Fredo makes that move on Cutler's stick. There's literally no point in covering the top guys because they have made their mind up already. The battle on track is the battle for 5th. Fredo v Cutler. Fredo takes the inside line but gets a little bit of a drift on. That's going to affect his exit speed. Cutler's got a better exit. It's going to be all over him. Coming down the SS complex, takes a shorter racing line. Fredo has to defend this nice and early. Sparks has now crossed the line and confirmed his win, but we're not going to change to him. This is Cutler goes for a last minute dive bomb move now. Doesn't make it stick. Fredo just parks his car in the perfect place and secures that. So that was, in all fairness, some brilliant racing from those two right at the end. Fredo seals 5th. Cutler brings home 6th. And Cullers is going to bring home 7th position. So confirmation results coming up for the sprint race. So Sparks winning that one by 6 seconds to PK. 18.05. Mate, honestly, you're my driver of that race. Superb performance, mate. You started at the back, didn't you? Peter, if you're still watching, are you coming back? 5-minute break for these boys now. Congratulations to Sparks. We'll save that replay. We'll do a screen grab of these. There we go. Fraser, for fuck's sake. Oh mate, right, let's change some race settings. I'm ignoring comments for a minute, boys. I'm doing that on purpose. So I need to set time to that. 30 minutes. Tyre wear, right. I just need to go and check what the tyre wear multipliers are. So it's tyres times 10. And fuel times 8. Initial fuel, I'm sure that's 70. It is. 70 racing. Second half racing. Oh wait, wrong way. Yeah, perfect. Any racing tyre, lovely. I'll just restrict them to racing wets and just watch the carnage. And then is it reverse grid? Reverse grid, reverse. Yes, it is reverse grid. There we go. Yeah, Fraser, unlucky. But that's racing, mate, innit? have some absolute shockers, but I'll give you one thing. You've got a chance of a result in this one. Let's have a look at the comments, see what's going on. Good evening, I was just tweeting out. Yep, last. Yeah, he started from last. Last to fourth. Pretty decent, mate. Pretty decent. Is it a one stop or two stop? Who knows? Who knows? I don't know how bad tyre deg's going to be on this track, because it's not that abrasive, is it? Someone save replay. Have already done that, Cuddles. We'll just check. I have already done it. Okay, so give them a 5-minute break. Race 2 starts at 21:15. Okay, let's have a look at some comments, see what's cracking. Peter, if you're watching, are you coming back? Hunty the Punty, how have you got on, mate? How did your first race go? Fraser bogged down at the start, pushed a little hard to get back at me. Yeah, I thought that might have been the case. You both got away relatively well. But that run up to T1 is gargantuan. It's a huge run up, so if you get a bad start there, you're at the back. And to be fair, if you get a good start and the guys ahead don't, you can get moves made before the corner's even ready. Yeah, Punty, how have you got on, mate, in your first race? P7, good, not quick here. 41st corner went off. Easy track to make mistakes on. In fact, I'm going to pop over to Dark Smoker's lobby and just see, just go and say hello. Always nice to be nice, isn't it? I don't have volume on. Okay, so I'm just watching this stream.
CJ, debate. How's the ProAm going? So CJ is commentary. To us around this track in these minutes. Tried to set me up to it earlier, CJ, to see if I can get that sorted out and stuff. I'll find it for about 5 minutes.
Matthew Lambert, Joanna is in there. Marley Tyler, happy. Princey Bob. Hunty the Punty. Okay. Right, so I'll come back and check out Dark Smokers later when it lets me. Let's see how comments are going on my stream, because I can't ignore you lot, can I? Maybe one in the wrong brake bias. Have it to the rear. I ran it -1, which is just 1 to the front. To be brutal, I don't know. I'm not. I'd usually just ignore FF cars. If there's a race that's an FF car, I don't even bother watching it, to be honest, mate, because I don't enjoy driving them. I did have a couple of laps. So before I start the stream up. Well, you don't want to know what I was doing before I started this stream. I was actually pretending to be Bert Marlin doing drifting a safety car around the track. But I do a couple of laps in the minis just to sort of get a feel for it, just so I know what pressures the guys are actually under in real life. And there's a couple of braking zones on here where the back just wants to spin out. So T1, if you try and steer in early before you've fully let off the brakes, the back's going to just flip on you. Yeah, you can try brake it, and you can help yourself by sort of hooking 2 wheels on the curb and dragging the car around, but all the while it just wants to throw you off. And then turn 4, the one with the awful wall on the outside, you get your braking on there, you've screwed it. The last turn is a little bit easy with it being slightly uphill, But if you... So, because of the way the weight shift happens at that point, so you've got all the weight at the back going up the hill, then you're braking with the front brakes only, the weight suddenly shifts forward. If you then sort of try and steer too much at that point, that's it. The car's over-rotating and you're sideways into the wall. And we saw that happen to a couple of guys in race 1. Oh, I know, kept going on about, I hate them, mate. They've got no place in racing. FF cars, they're not race cars. Fuck off. Simple as that. I don't like them. Anyway, I have said that when I next come in an open lobby, you do, I'll drive an FF car just to make you happy. Anyway, so 2 minutes before race 2 start. So if you're watching the stream, chuck in your predictions. Because we're going to have Sparks starting at the back. Fraser's going to be... Let's have a look. What's the... I'm not going to be able to have a look at the grid order. So, yeah, you're going to have Sparks all the way at the back. It doesn't look like Peter's coming back. I was keeping an eye out for him. 1805 is going to be near the back as well. We know he's quick here. Who else we got? We've got PK at the back as well. And the one sort of out of position driver for me is going to be Fraser. Now, if you're Fraser, do you chuck an alternate strategy in there? Try and upset the pack a little bit. Do a little bit of a Ferrari at Singapore and try and back everyone up and force their strategies to be messed up. Or do you go for what you think is, is fastest? Who knows? Don't know. It'd be interesting to see what people do go for here, because there's not that many turns, so your tyres, it's hard to say. I mean, at places like Dragon Trail, your tyre choice is critical, because you've got a lot of bloody turns there, and this one you've only got like 7 corners. And it's really hard to say. I mean, I suppose your front right's the one that's going to get the battering. Let's just chuck a start in soon in here. Scar Wars ready up. Yes, he is. Yeah, he's ready. Right, let's get race 2 underway. Let's just check. I set 7 litres, first grid, sunny, 30 minutes. Yeah, perfect. Let's start the race. So this is race 2. Double the length of the last one. So half an hour. For every lap these guys do, they'll be using 10 laps worth of their tyres, and they'll be using 8 laps worth of their fuel. Let me spectate them. Be a good boy. There we go. 1805. Good luck. Good luck, Hunty. Right, so drivers get ready to start us off. Scar Wars is on pole for this one. He's an out of position driver as well, but not a lot of practice. As the lights go on for the feature race, lights are out and away we go. Everyone seems to have got away relatively well. Looks like Fraser's got a good start from 6th. No one's made up any places straight away. But it just like that, Fraser's going to have to get out of the slipstream and make a move in. A little bit of argy-bargy between Scar Wars and Cuddles at the start. Everyone keeps it relatively tidy, but things looks like Fredo had to get a little bit involved in that. So Fraser's made up 2 places already, and he's going to be going for another one. Sparks made up a couple of places as well. Let's see if anyone messes it up here. Looks like they didn't. Fredo's got a little bit wavy. It's probably the right word to use. Fraser into 3rd then. So Fraser's on a mission. I can't tell you what tyres people are on, and Fraser's gone for the super sticky strategy of the racing super soft tyres. Big battle then for 3rd position. Fraser's already made it up into second. He's now on the chase to Star Wars. 1.5 second deficit. Star Wars on the soft, Fraser on the super soft. Not a lot of difference in those tyres, to be fair. Sparks then into third. He's running the soft compounded tyre, roughly the same pace as the super soft. Isn't a ton of difference. Cutler maintains fourth. He's on the soft compound. Fredo also running the soft. No one yet opting to go onto the harder compounded tyre that were available to them. PK's also running the soft. 1805 running the soft, and Cuddle's running the medium. So he's obviously looking to extend stint 1, so he's probably our man to watch in terms of strategy. Battle of the race is probably going to be between these two, Fraser and Sparks, who have been dishing it out all season long. 1805 unfortunately is lost out in that battle for third. Sparks winning that one and has pulled a little bit of a gap to Fredo in fourth. Fredo and Cutler going at it. PK's wanting to get past. PK of course finished second in the last race. Someone may know who is quick. He's going to hold his own. So the battle for the lead then. Fraser's lumping time out of Star Wars right now. We don't know though if any of these guys are fuel saving, so for all we know Fraser's lumping through his fuel at a rate of knots. Star Wars is saving and could come back in through pit strategy. We don't know. Fredo's coming under serious pressure from 1805 as 1805 gets the move done through the S's. Is Fredo going to pop himself back out on the entrance there? But he does. Fredo's going to throw that one up the inside. Fredo just showing his racecraft there a little bit. So sort of letting 1805 in and then sort of saying, no thanks, I'm going to shut this door now. Everyone sort of makes it through the first couple of laps relatively unharmed. But one man who is under pressure now is Star Wars, as he just hangs one round the outside. And that's going to compromise him and Fraser's speed. That brings Sparks right into place. Now it's a three-way battle for first. Fraser in desperation goes onto the grass. Fraser really needs to get past Star Wars ASAP in order for his strategies to work. The longer he stays behind, the more it's hurting his tyres, and the more fuel he's using as well. So let's see how these guys can make it. I'm going to go on board with Sparks. Fraser does get past Star Wars. Star Wars is just going to hang it around the outside though. He's done bloody well. I'll tell you what, to say he popped it, give you something. Star Wars popped into the chat right at the start, said, look, don't know the track. I literally only just started driving it. So if I suck, so be it. And it's currently 5 laps in and in second place. Has to succumb to Fraser there, goes fully off track. Stewards might choose to give him a penalty for that. I guess it all sort of wrong coming out of turn 2. Just hooks 2 wheels where you don't want to hook 2 wheels. This is Fraser's opportunity then. Fraser needs to steam off and hope Star Wars now does him a favour. Star Wars drives off track. Star Wars needs to hold Sparks up for as long as possible in order for Fraser to pull away. So Star Wars is now clear in Ferrari. Singapore holding everyone else up. But Sparks is just going to throw one up the inside. And yeah, that's the move made, I'm afraid. So Sparks is now released into free air, essentially. Or is he? Yeah, he is. Star Wars tucks in behind. And he can go chasing after Fraser. Fredo's lost out massively in all this. Fredo's now down into 8th position. Something's happened while we were covering all that. And his tyre wear is also massively chundered. There's one characteristic of Fredo's that we've noticed is he does like to use his tyres. And that really does affect him in the race. If you look at how his tyre wear is compared to everyone else, So the next battle on track then is going to be PK, who's going to try and get past Star Wars. It's probably going to be the easiest move of the race you'll see. Star Wars does just drive off track, so Star Wars is hemorrhaging places, but in all fairness to the lad, he doesn't know the track. And although I've said that it's an easy track to learn, to get those final few attempts out of it is not so simple. So it's Fraser pitting. No, he's not. He's just taking a very wide line. Right then, so Sparks sets the fastest lap of the race so far, a 1:05.9. We should see similar sort of lap times to the last race. Of course, if the guys happen to be in a position where they're low on fuel and have got good tyre wear, they can go for a fast lap. But because fuel degradation and because fuel use and tyre degradation play such a crucial part in this, it's sometimes hard to want to push for that fast lap. So while the race has sort of settled down a bit, I guess it's time to mention that this is all in support, I guess, of the real life Chloe Hewitt Racing. You can check out the Chewitt Racing Facebook page using the clicky linky in the description below. I'm following them. I suggest you do the same. Of course, Chloe and Fred Racing real life. It's definitely worth giving them a check out. If you're anywhere near a racetrack in the UK and you see them near you, please go and give them your full support. I would much rather support a British sort of local talent rather than anyone else. So if they are at Donington anytime soon, I can probably guarantee you I'll try and get to see them. Sparks is all over Fraser like a bad rash. Taking that corner lovely. So by this point these guys will have mastered this circuit. As we're a third of the way through race number 2. The strategy is now going to start to sit in with these guys. So the pit window is now open for the first pit stoppers. We sort of said lap 8-9 is where you'll probably start to see a lot of the guys dive into the pits for the first time. Neither of these two decide to do that. PK stays, PK pits. So PK is the first of our pitters. No one else is choosing to do it. As Cuddles unfortunately just gets a little bit of a whack into the wall. Not too sure what happened there. Cuddles is going to dive into the pits and get some on motion lotion in the tank though as well. Fraser still leads this one. Sparks isn't letting him have it easy though. I think these guys are going to have to dive in the pits soon, so we'll see if their strategies begin to play out. I'm not going to say it on stream because it provides an advantage to some, but if you're watching the stream, just have a look at that. In fact, I'll get me a little mouse. I'll show you something. I can't do it. I can't make it happen. Look at his fuel. How's he done that? Anyway, Fraser pits with 7% of fuel. Sparks pits with 1. Star Wars assumes the lead of the race. Cutler's into second. 18:05 now into third. Of course, none of these guys have yet pitted. In theory, Fraser will have to spend as long in the pits as Sparks will. Depends how much fuel they opt to put in, whether they opt to fuel a short stint or whether they opt to fuel and go long for the full sort of remaining laps. Of course, that's yet to be seen. We'll see how that plays out. Okay, so Sparks has gone on to a set of the medium compound tyres. Of course, probably one of the more robust compounds to do. Probably sacrifices a little bit of lap time in order of doing that, but shouldn't have as much of a drop off. Star Wars is going to dive into the pits now from the lead. That right front has seen better days. 1805 also peels into the pits. Cutler carries on, and I'm just gonna say something out here, out live. He's done a magnificent job on those tyres. It doesn't look like he's pitted yet, given the deltas. So that tyre wear is reminiscent of 3 or 4 lap old tyres, not 11 lap old ones. And he's also doing a good job on his fuel as well. So Cutler could be playing a bit of a blinder with his strategy here. Of course, some of these guys will either have to 2-stop, or we'll have to go for a sort of a slower 1-stop where you're having to fuel save and manage tyres towards the end of your second stint. Pit loss time here, it's about 10 seconds. Donington with the minis this weekend. Chloe Fred will be there. We're not racing as a minis, some upgrades for next season, but do come say hello. I'll check what I'm on with this weekend, Tony. I was down Donington not long ago. I'll see what I'm on with. If I can make my way down, I will do, mate. Because I'm only about 40 minutes away. I'm only at the road in Chesterfield. So Cutler goes for another lap. So he's really extending this first stint. 107. He sets his personal best time as well. On the 11th, on 11 lap old tyres. Bloody good job. Don't get me wrong, he's super light on fuel, but yeah, he's done a solid job, Cutler. We'll see how that plays out. That's interesting. Cuddles' strategy might play way out as well. We also remember him starting on the medium compounder tyres. Sparks 2.3 seconds back from Fraser. Of course, Fraser is in the net lead of the race, so he'll reassume that once Cutler pits. PK 3 seconds back from Sparks. He has pitted. 1805 looks to have pitted as well, but looks to be suffering a little bit with his tyres. Star Wars looks to have just pitted as well. Cuddles still not pitted, has he? Or has he pitted and just not changed tyres? There's a slow lap in there somewhere, so might be. Anyway, Cutler pretty much on fumes as he enters the pit lane. So he took that car 12 laps on just 70 litres of fuel with 8 times fuel depletion. A somewhat Herculean effort. So of course now he's not going to need to put as much fuel in his car. So we'll see how much he opts to stick in that. So his pit crew release him. And he comes out in 4th position. 1805 and Scar Wars behind, so Cutler's done a really good job there. So it's worth noting how much fuel he has refueled with, and that sort of tells us a little bit of a story about what the other guys are going to contend with throughout the rest of it. We know how well Cutler looks after his tyres as well, so he could very well just be doing an audacious 1-stop. The argument in the pre-race chatter was very much, is a 1-stop or a 2-stop faster? We'll come back to that in just a second. We'll just see how everyone else is getting on. Fred's in 8th still, has had a bit of a nightmare somewhere along the line, but has now pitted. So Scarborough does look to be getting the hang of this track a little bit more now. Yeah, that's a nice line. That's the sort of line you want to be taking through there. Right, so Cutler's job is now head down, focus on, get some consistent laps in. Another 107 now on his outlap. So his strategy so far still could come to him. The guys ahead might need to pit again yet, and if they don't, they'll certainly be managing things through the rest of the race. So this could well come to Cutler. So yeah, we'll see how that plays out. So what are you doing at Donington, Tony, if you're not racing? Are you just going to watch, or are you running something? Interested to know. Okay, so Cutler's starting to come under pressure from 1805. 1805, beautiful run out of that corner. Probably hits the limiter just a little bit too much, but has got a run on Cutler coming out. Does well to tuck into the slipstream, just gets that extra suck. Can now proudly say that Cutler has sucked him at Sardegna. How loudly you want to shout that is completely up to you, but there you go. So 1805 pokes his nose out, but Cutler just shuts that door. Yeah, just defends that one quite well. 1805's tyres have seen better days, and Cutler is on, sorry, not 1805. His tyres have seen better days, and of course Cutler's on fresh rubber, so he's going to be able to defend that position a lot more robustly. He can of course get on the brakes a lot more confidently. Cuddles also dealing with horrific tyre wear. I don't know if he changed his tyres on the last stop. And there's our Fredo. He was now pitted, and he's got a 9-second disadvantage to Cuddles up ahead. So we'll just see if Fredo's strategy does come to play. He could of course be running the go long option, so he may be one of the racers that sort of bunches back up when all this plays out. We're in the stage of the race now where, in all brutal honesty, what it looks like on track isn't always how it's going to finish in terms of the gaps and where people are and everything else. Don't get me wrong, Fraser and Sparks, two of the favourites to win this, but when you've got people like Cutler running alternate strategies and Fredo also running long strategies as well, as 1805 and Cutler have a little bit of a coming together. I'm not too sure what happened there. So 1805 got off the throttle, in fairness to him. He didn't keep he didn't keep his toe in on that one. I think it just a little bit of a racing incident. Sparks pits. This is a critical moment, so he's pitting with 59% fuel. And he's going on to presumably a set of really well, he's took the alternate strategy and not put any tyres on his car at all. So that's just a weird book on YouTube. What the fuck is going on? Oh, well, they raided Area 51 the other day, and I wonder if that's what they dug out. Oh man. Right, sorry, there's comments. Fred Mechanics for a race team. You know what? Credit to you, Tony. That's what I like about the racing community, though, mate. You do all chuck in. Right, so Fraser pits, low fuel. I'll come back to that, Tony, in just a second. I'm just covering this bit of the race. So PK's going to assume the lead of the race, but he's very well not going to stay there. I'm assuming Fraser's pit crew are going to fit wheels to his car. Sparks' crew forgot. So 10 minutes left of this now. Who's going to the end? I think we can probably say that Sparks is. Where does Fraser come out in relation? Fraser does come out ahead of Sparks, quite considerably as well. He's now on super sticky tyres. Officially Sparks has got softs fitted to that car, but he hasn't got anything. Oh man. You know what, if any of these guys, some of them I know watch this stream, some of the racers watch it and just have it on as noise in the background. A few of them will be asking questions in their head as to why I absolutely pissed myself laughing when he pitted. Watch this stream back, boys, and you'll see why. Now the guys ahead have pitted, we could see Cutler's strategy starting to pay out. Whether he's got the pace to get in touch with Sparks and Fraser is yet to be seen, but PK in the lead does have to pit. There is no way he's going to make that fuel and those tyres last. He is doing a bloody good job, PK, running the lap times he is on those tyres, because those tyres are what we call in the traders completely and absolutely. So he's doing a good job to run 107s in that one. Sparks, right, look at that. You need to have a word with your Evolution Racing pit crew. They've not fitted any wheels to it. What's like the bloody not Fast and Furious, Back to the Future car. Anyway, I'm getting distracted with silly things. Yeah, Tony, my point earlier, and it's something I witnessed when I was at Donington, because I was at Donington as part of the Ginettas. So who I work for have not a race team, but we basically pay for a car to be represented there. As part of Assetto Motorsport, a couple of G40 Cup cars. It's PK Pitts from the lead, so it's going to hand Fraser the net lead of the race, but we'll come back and see where PK emerges. And yeah, you know, when one of the guys has a bit of an issue from opposing teams, people will just run over to the garage and help. You know, they're not going to give them parts off their car and stuff in all occasions, but they'll help, and I love that. Right, so Cutler's going to assume third in the race. Yeah, he does. PK, can he hold on to fourth? Looks like he's just going to get that ahead of 1805. So far, 1805, he's probably winning my internal driver of the day competition that I run every week with myself. Of course, if you're watching the stream and have been from the start, please drop a comment below as to who has impressed you in this one. Who do you think deserves the Driver of the Day award? It's not worth anything other than kudos. But yeah, who's driven out of their skin for you? I've got to say Fraser's done well in this race. Sparks also done well, but we kind of expect it. Is it bad from Sparks? It's like Hamilton, we just expect him to do well. Cutler's played a blinder on his strategy so far. Time for it to unfold yet, don't get me wrong. We've still got 6 minutes to go. I've got to get plenty more laps of fuel out of these cars, but we could see that play out. There's Cuddles pits. Those tyres are completely and utterly shot. So let's see what he opts to do. Fredo in 7th. Fredo's not had the best day out, but one thing we've learned about Fredo is he does a lot of real life stuff, so when it comes to his sim, he probably just ignores his sim stuff and uses it as filler. I think to be super competitive in stuff like this, you do need to dedicate quite a bit of time to your practice sessions and race sims and stuff, and he probably just don't got the time to do it. I struggle when I don't race in real life. So monitoring the gap between Fraser and Sparks, it's staying relatively consistent. They're both running similar lap times, so that gap's hovering about 3.5, 4 seconds. The gap back to PK is relatively massive. PK and Cutler are now embroiled in a battle. PK's got past him at some point. Sorry boys, we did miss that. So whoever Cutler is, Cutler by the way could just be on a fuel saving mission. I think to make that work he's had to. 1805 dives in the pits again. He's come out though, and he's not changed his tyres. So what's going on there? Was it just a fuel splash and dash? Because those tyres could do with changing, let's be honest with you. But with 4 minutes to go, is it really worth it? Probably not, let's be honest. Fredo's got a fair old gap to Cuddles behind. Cuddles is on fresh rubber and softer compound as well, so we could see that one close up towards the end of the race. So we are, all the pit stops now should in theory be done. Everyone out on track should be running to the end. Should. Unless of course someone's miscalculated their fuel and has to do a bit of a splash and dash, which will probably cost them at least 10 seconds. So gap between Fraser and Sparks, again relatively steady. Sparks will probably still grow his championship lead by virtue of Fraser's poor first race, but he's done damage limitation as far as possible, I guess. PK, a good outing for PK this one. You know, another contender for driver of the day. It's PK261. Again, in the comments, drop a comment, let me know what you think. Cutler not doing bad at all. He's gonna have Star Wars pulling in on him, I think now. My guesstimate is, with the lap times Cutler's having to run, my guess is he is fuel saving. He's had to make a one-stop work, and to do that he's gonna have to be lean on that fuel mixture. I don't know that, I'm guessing, but let's be honest, that's how it's looking. Star Wars probably doesn't have to be as conservative on his fuel, but he's still got to keep an eye on it. 1805. Be interesting to hear from him after the race to see how that played out, because those tyres are absolutely dead, my friend. Fredo now has Cuddles all over him. We did say not so long ago that Cuddles would catch him by virtue of just being on a ridiculously soft compounder tyre, and he has, and just on traction alone is gaining that time. These are spec minis, they are exactly the same power and exactly the same weight. The only difference is the organic squishy bit behind the wheel, fuel and tyres. That is it. So Cuddles manages to get that move done on Fredo with just 2.5 minutes remaining in the race. The gap between Fraser and Sparks has come down a little bit. So somewhere Sparks has taken a second out of him. I'm guessing that's because of his alien car that he's running. So this one could go down to the wire then. If Fraser does make a mistake, Sparks is within pouncing range. PK pretty safe in third, just needs to bring this one home now and it'll be a good result for him. Cutler's again, he's going to have to manage that fuel. It looks exactly like what he's doing, to be honest, looking at the times he's pulling in. Scar was behind it, he's taking time out of him, but not in a dramatically big way. 1805 after having to pit, presumably for splash and dash. I don't know what happened again, we'll speak to him after the race. He normally does nip straight into the comments of this video. So 1805, I'll be coming to you to ask what on earth are you doing with your tyres, mate, because they're buggered. And we saw Cuddles get past Fredo. Fredo again is very marginal on fuel, so he's going to make it round to start another lap before the timer runs out. So he's on his penultimate lap. As we watch the gap between Fraser and Sparks comes down again a little bit, half a second ish. Still 2.5 seconds the gap. That's a vast yawning chasm of time in these minis. They certainly aren't the fastest things in the world, so whereas in Formula 1 that would certainly be a succumbable achievement. Like I said, PK just needs to bring this one home. There's no real battles on track to focus on, to be fair. It's probably worth keeping an eye on people's strategy. Cutler probably will have timed this, so this will be his last lap now. It's the second that timer ticks to 0. If you cross the line, you're done, my son. PK might just make that cut off. Sparks and Fraser are going to have to go for another lap. PK is going to be the first of our finishers, I think, looking at this. So checkered flag waves, PK solidifies his third position. Cutler will be glad to see this, looking at his fuel. I just hope he doesn't run out on the line. Good strategy play by Cutler to bring in 4th position. Couldn't do anything to avoid PK overtaking him. Scar Wars very similar, runs out of fuel on the line for Scar Wars. 1805 on his absolutely shredded tyres. Cuddles was gaining on him all the way through that stint, but just couldn't get that final few seconds in. Cuddles in 7th with Fredo bringing home 8th position. Fredo of course close to being lapped now by Fraser. Fraser comes up to win the feature race with Sparks in 2nd. That's your results, ladies and gents. Okay, and yeah, you did, mate. Your tyres were shot. Anyway. So, well done to Fraser. F124YS. has to be said, he's done a solid job there. Let me just screenshot results for everyone. Screenshot that. Yeah, done. And chuck a congratulations to Fraser. 1805, got the fuel right this time. Yeah, you did, mate. And you know what, I struggle. I do genuinely struggle when it's endurance races to correlate time into lap time and all that sort of stuff. So I feel your pain. But yeah, your tyres. I think Cutler probably had the edge on strategy, just cost him a little bit at the end. Two-stop in theory seemed to be the faster way to go about it, but you could make a one-stop work if you had the track position right. Hit gas at start and pedals flew away. Quality. Oh my god. Right, so let's see what's going on. Just work it out on the yeah, I have to do that in my GT3 race, but I at least try and sim it first. It's difficult. Hate the endurance race, bloody typical. Yeah, Fredo, feel your pain, mate. You are preaching to the converted on that one, my friend. You are preaching to the converted. Alright then, so that is race number 2 of the Chewitt Racing Mini Cooper Cup. If you like what you see, give Next Gen Racing a clicky linky. You will see a link to their Facebook page in the description below. Another link to check out is Chewitt Racing. So we obviously do all this in the sim world, so in the fake world where everything's nice and rosy, and if you slam it into a wall, it'll be okay. But there are a lot of people who do this in real life, and Chewitt Racing are a sort of family of racing drivers. So we've got Tony in the comments who has Fred and Chloe. Chloe races in the Mini Challenge, Fred races in the Ford KAs. Yeah, go and check them out. If you see them at a track near you, go say hello, tell them CJW Racing sent you. They'll either punch you in the face or welcome you, don't know which one. Hit that like button, that's right Sparks, give that like button a smash, and of course go and check out Dark Smoker. There is a link titled ProAm Commentary in the description below. He has been doing the exact same thing that I have and chatting absolute nonsense over proper racing drivers going around the track, but for the Pro-Am, and I assure you the action there is just the same as this. So if you like what you see, you can go and check out more by checking out his channel as well. So that's it for the Chewitt Racing Mini Cooper Cup. We just get what we've got up next. So next we are heading to the drivers are coming back to England next week to the Brands Hatch Indy circuit, and this is looking like exact same format as tonight. So 15-minute quali, 15-minute race, 30-minute enduro, but at the Brands Hatch Indy circuit instead. After that we go to Goodwood's. Goodwood's the scene of probably the best race I've ever commented on. One of the closest finishes in both races that I've ever seen, so that's definitely one to check out. Date mark in the diary, 7th of October. We then have a little bit of a season break for a week or two, and we come back, and that season break is probably so the drivers can and teams can transport their vehicles all the way from Goodwood to Kyoto in Japan. So that's probably the amount of time it takes them to fly 8 minis across the world. We stay in Japan for the Tokyo track, and then they head back to Italy for scuba. So we'll of course cover that next time round. I'm going to stop waffling nonsense now. I'll just check out if there's any other comments. There isn't, so I can leave that there. So yeah. Check out the links in the description below, smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, tell everyone you know. The next random person you see in the street, just go and tell them to subscribe to CJW Racing. You never know, if you send a sub my way, I might give you a cookie or something, I don't know, we'll figure something out. Anyway, I'll stop chatting nonsense. Right, so I'll see you next time, guys. Next action on the channel is going to be you'll probably next see us live on Thursday for the Siroccos. In the meantime, I've got some actual racing of my own to do, so I'm going to go and practice for that now. Thanks for checking us out. My name's been CJW Racing. You've been watching Chewitt Racing Mini Cooper Cup. See you later.